Ahoy, sailor. Welcome aboard Sailor Tales, where the sea keeps her darkest secrets. If the call of the ocean stirs your soul, subscribe and ring the bell. Another voyage awaits, and it begins now.
In the Tasman Sea, death doesn't always come from below. Sometimes it rises from the surface like a sharpened god's harpoon. Jonah Wexler had sailed these waters for 2 decades. Storms, whales, rogue waves manageable, predictable, but nothing unnerved him more than the floating menace. He learned to fear in silence. Neptune's spear. On calm days, the Tasman Sea shimmered under sunlight. Endless blue, whispering wind, the horizon unbroken. But beneath that peace, something waited. Loose logs were common remnants from forestry or lost cargo. Most floated harmlessly, flat, but some evolved. Over decades, waves, wind, and salt sculpted massive logs into weapons. Wexler first saw it during a midnight gale off Tasmania. Rain lashed sideways, waves exceeded 25 feet, radar cluttered, crew tense. From a trough, it rose, a spike of wood, grey-black, launching 60 feet like a breaching leviathan, suspended in the air, almost majestic. Then it plunged back into darkness. The deck went silent. "Was that a log?" a sailor whispered. "Not one I want to meet twice," Wexler said. 2 weeks later, near the same waters, it rose again, closer this time. The tip glinted obsidian. The helmsman gasped, twisting the wheel hard. The spike vanished into the waves. They altered course, not caring where, only surviving. Wexler started recording every detail: position, weather, wave, height, timing. Each spike seemed alive, riding waves with deliberate purpose. Scientists might call it buoyancy, wave mechanics, or coincidence. Sailors knew better. You didn't explain something that could impale a hull, you prayed it past. Silence became constant. On a late-season supply run near the Furneaux Islands, another spike appeared. This one followed them like a shadow. Every few miles, it rose, not closer, not farther, always astern. 6 times in 12 hours, it breached, silver tips glinting under storm clouds. Crew didn't sleep, eyes were sunken, hands trembled. They arrived at port shaken, unsure if they survived nature or something else. The captain ordered extra lookouts. Wexler climbed the mast repeatedly, scanning grey-green waves. Every swell could hide the spear, every trough conceal its rise. Crew whispered of curses, of spirits guarding the sea. Wexler stayed practical. Observe, record, survive. But in his gut, he felt the ocean was testing them, and it had a score to settle. Weeks passed with smaller sightings, splintered wood, faint flashes in the surf. The spikes didn't always rise, but the fear did. Crew sleep cycles shattered. One man woke screaming, claiming a log followed him along the deck in his dreams. Another refused to eat, convinced the ocean marked him for a strike. One night, a thunderstorm turned the sea into chaos. Waves crashed from all directions. Visibility near zero. Radar scrambled. Jonah leaned over the rail. A massive silhouette broke the water's surface. Not a log, it had length, taper, purpose. It struck, splintering a secondary mast. Crew scrambled, dodging airborne debris. Survival instincts overtook fear. The spike vanished. The damage was chaos. Ropes snapped, radar broken, deck instruments scattered. They patched what they could and kept moving. Sleep was impossible. Every splash, every sudden swell made hearts pound. Jonah began to notice patterns. The spears rose near swells, in rotation with currents, almost like hunting. The sea was orchestrating attacks. During another run, a spike shot up next to the bow. Jonah had seconds to react, shouting orders. Crew dove. The wooden projectile struck the hull at a grazing angle, scraping metal, leaving splinters across the deck. Silence followed, heavy as water. No one spoke for minutes. Respect, fear, and disbelief mingled. The sea had reminded them who ruled. By mid-season, they learned not to approach certain channels. Spikes appeared more often near deep swells. Jonah recorded coordinates, but the sea was unpredictable. Charts, weather, experience, all meaningless. They survived not by skill alone, but by instinct. Every decision mattered. Every glance over the bow could mean life or death. The crew grew tense, bonding through shared fear. Nights were spent on constant lookout. Every shadow, every glimmer of light was suspected. Jonah realized that Neptune's spear wasn't just wood. It was a test, a predator, silent, patient, and relentless. Those who saw it once carried the memory forever. Finally, during a clear day off Maria Island, a spike rose leisurely, almost lazily. Jonah watched from the bridge. Unlike before, it didn't strike. It hovered, suspended, as if inspecting them. He felt awe, a strange respect. The ocean, deadly as it was, displayed its artistry. The sea didn't need to kill to remind men of its power. From that day forward, sightings decreased. Jonah believed the ocean had judged them, accepted their passage. The crew still spoke in hushed tones about Neptune's spear, but the fear evolved into vigilance, respect, and awe. Some things in the sea were beyond explanation, beyond reckoning. You survived by humility and alertness, nothing more. Jonah returned to port months later, notes and sketches in hand. Mariners laughed at his tales. Scientists smiled politely, asking for samples. He had none to give. The spikes were gone. Only memories, impressions, and the faint echo of waves whispering warnings. He understood the ocean had secrets men were never meant to claim. Years later, Jonah still sailed the Tasman Sea.com waters, tranquil horizons, but when a wave rose higher than it should, or sunlight glinted strangely beneath the surface, he tensed. Every sailor knows the sea hides more than logs and reefs. Sometimes it remembers, and sometimes it waits. There are monsters in the sea. Some swim, some crawl, some rise silently, shaped by storms, by time, and by patience. Neptune's spear was one, a floating harpoon, ancient and relentless. And if you ever meet one in the Tasman Sea, pray it passes by. The ocean is alive, it watches, and it punishes carelessness.
The tide carries this tale to its end, but many more wait beyond the horizon. If this voyage kept you at the edge of your seat, give it a like and subscribe to join the crew. Don't drift away, another story is ready for you just ahead. Until next time, fair winds and following seas.